Hi, everybody. This is Marilyn. Do we have any audio? Thanks. Okay, this is Welcome to My World, about 2:30 on November the 18th. It's a Wednesday. 30 minutes ago, we just had the FOMAC minutes released, which is, just some more of blah, blah, blah. And once again, yes, they may raise interest rates. Yeah, they may do a lot of things too. But time will tell. We shall see. Let's see. This afternoon, we didn't really get too much that was all that easy to trade off of crude oil, but we sure had a lot of volume right here at this middle ice. And tomorrow that volume will show us that there was a tremendous amount of volume in this range. This is the value of these ice lines. About 70% of 70 to 80% of all the volume happens between these lines. It doesn't mean that there won't be trades outside of that range, but it does mean that the volume is likely. The probability, this is a probability game. The probability of the volume dissipating is greater. And when we have no volume, we have no orders. And when we have no orders, we have no movement. So it takes that movement to be profitable. We have the VIX dropping off a little bit. It's trading 1743 right now. And we've seen all these indices go up. TF, which typically will lead the charge, has been the laggard today. The other three indices, the NQ was definitely the indice of choice to trade. If you watch all those and you're looking for the best one early in the morning, you can usually get an indication of which one you want to use by watching those four. And let's see, we had some questions in here earlier and I kind of forgot what they are. But as TF tick in tenths it ticks, yes, it does. It's $10 every tick. So it ticks, from say 41.75 to 41.85 is $100 per contract. I don't trade the NQ because I can't figure out all that half a point stuff and times however many contracts and a bunch of stuff. But a lot of people love that. And I have seen a lot of recommendations that if you are new to trading indices, that's a good place to start. The YM and the dollar index, which is the DX. Just be sure you're on the correct month's contract. Those contracts are a little easier to keep track of than crude oil because you only have to change them 4 times a year. And let's see. Mohammed, you need the info on the indices. What info are you looking for? I'm not sure. All of the nitty-gritty of all the info for everything is on the website of the CME. That is not the easiest website on the planet to find things on, but the information is all there, every last bit of it. Oh yes, what I remember, I told you that if you had an interest, I would show you. I have I have to pull this over here. I have a little chart. I like to keep the DAX because I like to trade the TF. That, other than crude oil, that's my uh, market of choice. And this is what I use, and it's real small. Doesn't have to be, I'm not going to trade it. It's not for trading. It's for monitoring. I have the apex pattern on this and the EMA. I have volume on it, the deviation levels, and then I'm a real big fan of today's high open and low and yesterday's high and low. So my theory is today's colors need to come right out in front of you, and yesterday's colors need to be dissipated, but I want to know where they are. This little green dotted line is yesterday's high, or last session if it's on a Monday. And the ice is helpful on this too. But what I want to know is when it forms an A and it's about to reverse, is that pretty much in keeping with what the TF is doing? And normally it is. It's darn close. So for example, if you had taken a TF trade, let me get that chart over and I'll show you what I'm talking about. If you had taken a TF trade over here at, I don't know, whatever time it is. This is a 12 tick also. It's just all scrunched up. You know, we had this thing all scrunched up. And I think this is a 12. Yes. Yes, it is. But they tend to travel together or slightly ahead. If you can see that the FDAX is starting to fiddle around down here and you're kind of wondering what the TF or whatever indices, US indices you're trading is going to do, it's likely to be pretty darn close. So I keep this just as clean as possible. I don't need to know where the MVP and all this other stuff is because I'm not going to trade it. It's an indicator. It's just not put on the same chart. If you look at this in the morning, very first thing, you'll have a pretty good idea of what the sentiment for the U.S. markets is going to be, because the news has all hit in Europe several hours before we open, and the FDAX has absorbed all that news, good, bad, or indifferent. I think I've mentioned before that you really need to find a good website. There are a number of them. I use Forex Factory, as well as the Apex news tab, the Apex website news tab. And there's a calendar, you can click on it and it will list out today's news and the times. Be sure you review that for tomorrow, because it will tell you what the news coming out in Europe is real early tomorrow morning, or if there's any important person speaking that may rock those markets. There's often a little bit of a carryover if you're trying to trade futures or spreads in this stuff. The Nadex website, if you take the daily contract on the Nadex and just click on one of the the daily or the weekly, it doesn't matter, but click on one of those, you can enlarge that chart and you can drag it off that page and stick it over. You can resize it and stick it over somewhere So you're not tying up so much of your own computer resources when you're pulling something like that off the web, because the, the bottom line, though, of course, is you cannot put apex indicators on that. You have to use NinjaTrader to put those apex indicators. But if you're looking for a ballpark, just a ballpark to see where it's turning, and check those 30-minute candles. They to me are the best, because that's where the big money is the most likely to either come in or go out, is right on that top of the hour and the bottom of the hour. Those are significant time points. And don't be putting a trade on 1 or 2 minutes before one of those without a real good idea of where that trade is most likely to go. The value of this sharpshooter is right here. Look at all this. This is in screaming yellow. Stay out right here. There's just no sense in trying to fight this stuff when it gets like that. So let's see. We've had Brent. Brent oil has come up off of about 43.35. We'll see how long that lasts. And I thought there might be a little more response to these minutes in bonds, but I didn't see too much. So tomorrow morning, what we have, tomorrow morning is going to be, okay, now this is a perfect example. Tomorrow morning, the German Buba president speaks at our time, 3 a.m. So that will affect the euro, and it will affect the DAX. And there are some other news, retail sales and stuff coming from London that will affect the pound sterling. In the U.S., tomorrow morning at 8:30, we have Canadian wholesale sales. So if you trade the 6C or the any Forex pair with the CAD in it, that will be affected. And then at 8:30, we also have the U.S. unemployment claims. I love that word, claim. They claim to have those numbers. Well, I guess, if they say so. 10 o'clock tomorrow is going to be the Philly Fed manufacturing and CB leading index numbers. So let's see. And Bank of Canada tomorrow at 10:30 will have their review, and then Thursdays, the every Thursday at 10:30 is nat gas. So it's a good idea to pay attention to some of these. If you trade in the evening, you should definitely pay attention to the news that comes out of Australia, because the Aussie dollar and the Japanese yen control those evening markets a little more than they do here. Okay, so anything else? If there's anything you ever want me to go over, don't hesitate to ask me, because this is a good time of day when I've got the time to do it. But otherwise, I mean, most of the times I do. Otherwise, this has been my view from my world in Apex land, brought to you by Apex Investing. I'll see you in the morning.